positive, happy, motivated, energetic. Tamilive seeks to enhance the quality of life by encouraging you to just be happier and to embrace the fullness of life. Get ready to laugh. Get ready to dance. Get ready to celebrate life with Tamilive, starting right now. Ouch!
Hello and welcome to Tammy Live. I am pumped up about today's episode because today we're going to be speaking about something that we don't always speak about, but I think it's very important. Today we're going to ask the question, is chivalry dead? Is it? Chivalry comes from the olden days, knighthood days, when it was really just a good behavior, a code of conduct, so to speak, of how people interacted in the social realm. Today, some of those points have been lost by the wayside. Today, my guest is going to give his version and his opinion on the fact of, is chivalry dead? We're going to ask our guest when we come right back. Tammy Live, we will be right back.
Log on now to jtvlive.net for news, talk shows, government and community events, and breaking news across the Virgin Islands. jtvlive.net, your television on the internet, your television on demand. Log on now to jtvlive.net, twice the power.
jtvlive.net, twice the power. jtvlive.net, twice the power.
Welcome back to Tammy Live. Today, if you've just tuned in, you're in time for the discussion to begin. Today we're speaking, and asking rather, is chivalry dead? Tammy Live, David.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on the red couch.
Of course, so happy to have you here. For those of you who don't know, David is the owner and managing director, marketing director of dglifestyles.com, and he is one of our sponsors, but he's a man with a lot to say, so I had to bring him on my couch talk. So today we're going to be asking that question. Is chivalry dead? Do you believe it's dead?
I wouldn't say that it's dead. I would more say that it's in a confused state.
Confused state? Why?
For many reasons. I mean, the ones that come to mind mainly are we are living in a time of people are more independent. Years gone by, our grandmothers, etc., they would expect one to open the door, one to open the car door, they'd expect roses, etc., etc. These days you hear statements if, well, I've heard this before, one guy presented a lady with roses and her response to the roses was, I don't know why you're bringing me roses, because roses die, and that's not a good sign for a relationship. So years gone by, while it would have been a good gesture to bring a rose, in her view, that wasn't something that
she welcomed.
Right.
Right? So today is kind of scuffed off a little bit.
It's scuffed off a bit.
Well, on Tammy Live, we have a list of things that people want to know about, and so we're going to go through that list. So is that okay with you?
Sure.
Excellent. We're going to start off with opening the door. You mentioned it a little bit. Opening the door for a lady, opening the door for elderly people. You know, back in the day, as I was saying before, they spoke about a code of conduct. This is the way you behaved. It was taught in school, it was taught in churches, it was taught at home. And so when you stepped out into society, you knew there was a code of conduct, a way to behave, a way to act. So opening the door was something that, you know, you would do. If you're a gentleman, ladies, you would open the door for her, right?
Right.
Open the car door for her. How do you feel about that one?
I do agree with opening the car door. There's an iffy feeling that I have about it.
Tell me.
I feel more comfortable opening the door for an elderly person. And the reason is because the gesture is understood.
Why do you think the gesture is understood? Because they are from that time?
Because they're from that time where it is viewed as a person of good conduct would open a door. Such as if you're going into the bank and there's an elderly person that is walking behind you or is walking out, you would open the door and lead them out.
And they're accustomed to that, you're saying?
And they're accustomed to that.
Younger people today?
Younger people, it is not, you don't get the response that it is a good gesture or that it is a gesture out of goodwill.
Oh, what response do you get?
It's just you open the door. You know.
No big deal.
No big deal. So you know, it tends to lead you to feel, well, why try? You know, or why show the effort of goodwill when it's not appreciated?
Oh my goodness.
And so to an extent, over time you tend to scuff it off and not pay attention to it when it comes to the younger generation. To the older generation, yes, I still do.
Okay, fine. So you're saying maybe it's because you get scuffed off enough. You're saying, look, I'm not going to do that anymore.
Yeah.
But you still do it because your mother taught you to do that.
Well, yeah.
All right. Well, the next one would be asking a lady to dance. Oh my goodness. I have been out and you're dancing, you're at a party, dance, whatever the case is. You're dancing on the dance floor. I've had women friends, single, and you know, some married, but some women just love to dance by themselves. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, David, a man just comes, he starts walking up on you. Back in the day, men would stop. May I have this dance? And wait for a response before proceeding. Today, we don't do that as much. How do you feel about that?
That brings me to the point where I started in the beginning saying that we're in a confused state. And that's a clear example. The reason why I say that we're in a confused state is I grew up in a time where maybe you didn't ask, do you want to dance? You might see a girl that you might be interested in dancing with. You would go up to her on the dance floor, make a gesture, or do you mind if I dance with you? Or even if you don't do that, you would dance alongside her with a clear space between you and her. Small talk, laugh, joke on the dance floor, and continue dancing, and you hope that your conversation is intriguing enough to last you until you reach when the slow songs come on. Hoping that when the slow songs come on, if you've measured up during that time,
right,
she will hold on to you and dance a few slow songs. Today it's completely different. I could remember I went to the club once and I tried my old-time gesture of approaching a person and just dancing alongside her. Up comes this dude from nowhere, jumps up behind her and starts dancing. Dance with her for like 3 minutes, then he moves on to her friend, dance with her for like 3 minutes. He's all over the place. Clearly I saw, well, you know, I'm too old for where I'm at. You know, and so that's what I mean by confused state, because to me I'm confused because when I grew up that was just proper conduct.
Right.
Today it seems as though the proper conduct is who could be more outlandish, who could be more obnoxious, who could be more quote unquote disgusting.
How do you feel about women who tolerate that? Because me, and I get scuffed off in the club, when I see a man doing that to me, I back up because I'm thinking, okay, what are you doing? And then he gets the message that I don't want to do that. But what do you feel about women who say, no, it's okay for him to walk up on me and walk up on my friend? Because you know, in the Caribbean, we walk up. I mean, let's just get it out there. We don't slow dance as much as we would like to think. How do you feel about women who take that on, who tolerate it?
I guess I'll take a liberal view on that.
Okay.
I've seen instances where you have groups of friends that go to the club or go to a party, etc., and all of them dance with each other. That's fine. However, of course, I would say don't try to get too vivacious with it. You know, try to keep it, you know,
decent.
Decent.
That's the word we're looking for.
Right. I do have an issue with it if the lady that we're speaking with is in a relationship.
Oh, you do? Oh, so what about people who say, I'm in a relationship, I'm married, or I'm with someone, but it's okay that I woke up with somebody else. It's a dance. Because you know Caribbean people say that. It's just a dance. How do you feel about that? Is it a dance just for you?
It is not a dance for me. To me, a dance isn't just a dance. Dance means, yeah, it could be a dance, but a dance to me means that, yes, I am comfortable with you being this close to me.
Oh, right.
I'm comfortable with you touching my skin, touching my body, caressing me in a suggestive manner.
Oh, David, you're gone deep now, man.
In a suggestive manner.
Right.
Now, if you are in a committed relationship, I don't see how you could give an invitation for someone to caress you, touch you in a suggestive manner when you're quote unquote claiming that you're in a committed relationship.
It could be like foreplay for some people, eh?
Right.
Yes, right?
Which it is.
So you're saying you're not comfortable with that?
Which it is.
Some people are, and you know, that's you, but some people aren't comfortable with that.
And I know a lot of people say that yes, they're comfortable with it, but I could remember one instance during Carnival in St. Kitts where a group of guys and a group of girls went out. However, within the group there was a couple, and one of the girls was with her girlfriend in front of the jam and dancing, and a guy came up behind her and started dancing, and she pushed back on him, and you know, they were doing their thing. Her boyfriend wasn't dancing with anybody, but when he saw that, he started dancing with her friend,
right,
in the same suggestive form. She turned around and got upset. So clearly that shows that even in a liberal mindset, it is still not viewed as kosher. So clearly
there's a problem, there's an issue there. And maybe there's a couple who will say it's okay, and that's fine, and that's you. But there are some persons who aren't so comfortable with it.
Right.
Okay. Let's talk now about thank you letters. Do you remember growing up when you'd have a party and people would bring gifts over and your mother would sit down with you to write a thank you letter and say thank you? How do you feel about that now? With, you know, email, text, everything else, we don't spend time doing that. How do you feel about that? Is that important for you?
Well, I always hated thank you letters because my handwriting was never the best.
I get that.
But I think today that has been played out a bit, especially with the coming of age of emails, etc. Now it's rare that you see someone even write dear so and so.
Absolutely, it's hi. It's just the name now. But all those letters started with dear.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, today when you see an email, it's not even dear so and so. It's just straight to the body.
This is what I want. Nothing else.
So a lot of that has been played out, but it is a good gesture.
I think so.
It's a very sweet thought whenever you see it.
And when you receive it.
And when you receive it, it's
beautiful.
It gives you a good feeling.
Indeed, indeed. Greetings. Good morning, good afternoon. You know, when I was growing up, it wasn't just a greeting. My mother told me it was you're blessing someone for the day. Have a good day. God bless you. Good morning, good afternoon. How do you feel about that? Because we're losing it a little bit. Some people still have it in our Virgin Islands, you know. I love that commercial in the Virgin Gorda. Good morning, neighbor.
Right.
Good morning. I love it. How do you feel about that now? Greetings in this time.
I try to hold on to it. Well, I do hold on to it because it is what is Caribbean. Whenever you go to the States or wherever, you usually don't see greetings like that, and it's one of the things that I hold dear to being a Caribbean person.
Okay.
But with greetings as well, it goes back to the same thing with that I mentioned earlier with the door.
Yes.
It is to some of the younger generation, it's played out.
Yes.
I'm not sure if it's that they weren't taught it. I mean,
But they need to see it too, no?
yeah.
They need to see it, and I just like keep telling adults, if your children don't see it, because you can tell a child all kinds of things, but if you don't do it yourself and show that example, then they're more likely to lose it along the way too, yeah?
Right.
What about women are sitting, men are sitting with women. A woman gets up, she leaves, he gets up to acknowledge her leaving. A woman comes in, a lady comes in, he acknowledges, he gets up, he stands up literally and acknowledges her, and then he waits for her to sit and he sits down. How do you feel about that? Do you even see that at all today?
You don't see it. You don't really see it. The only place that I actually see it is in terms of business, if it's a business meeting, etc., etc. But in terms of your everyday life, I think it's one of those things that has just been passed by the wayside, the same way the thank you notes are passed by the wayside.
Because you don't see people doing it.
Right.
But you say you've seen it in the business arena.
I see it in the business arena.
Oh, okay. So there's hope yet, you think?
I think it's done in the business arena to show a sign of courtesy, to show a sign of good intention, respect for the other person. And I guess to start any business venture with anyone else, you need to show that, right? But I guess because of it's, you don't see it with the everyday, which is sad, because I think that the same courtesy that one would enter into a business meeting with should also be shown
You would think
to
that.
your everyday person.
Absolutely. David from DJLifestyles.com. Isn't he fabulous? Don't touch that. When we come back, I'm telling you, we are going to have more to talk about on our list. Is Chivalry dead? Mr. Gill is saying that it's in a confused state. But we'll talk about some more things on that list when we come back. Tammy Live will be right back.
Log on now to jtvlive.net for news, talk shows, government and community events, and breaking news across the Virgin Islands. jtvlive.net, your television on the internet, your television on demand. Log on now to jtvlive.net, twice the power.
jtvlive.net, twice the power. jtvlive.net, twice the power.
Welcome back to Tammy Live. Is Chivalry dead? That's the question we're asking today, and we're here with David Gill. He's the owner and marketing director of DJLifestyles.com, and he is quite entertaining, isn't he? I think so. So let's go back to our list now. The next one is this. A gentleman, a lady, walking along the roadside. As I did my research for this show, it spoke about when you're on the road with a lady, the lady should be on the inside to protect her from traffic.
Right.
And the gentleman should be on the roadside.
Right.
How do you feel about that?
Oh, I totally agree with that.
That's one that you learned?
That is one. That is one that I was taught.
Okay.
I could remember my mom said that you do that not only to protect the
lady that you're with?
The lady that you're with from if there's an approaching vehicle, but if there's a puddle and there's a car coming and it splashes water, at least the majority of the water ends up on you rather than her. That's just a sign of goodwill.
How sweet is that?
Well, not a sign of goodwill. It's a good gesture.
Good gesture to show you respect, and you want to keep her safe and protect from the elements as well as traffic.
Right.
My father told me, if you're walking on the road and a guy comes along on a bicycle and if he meets you on the road and he decides to travel with you, if he does not come off of the bicycle and walk alongside you with the bicycle in his hand, then that's not a person of good character. Today we have young men riding with young ladies on the back of their motorcycles with no helmet. So we are in a confused state.
Right.
How do you feel about that?
I agree with that. I guess in this day and age it's difficult, since most of the young men, instead of riding bicycles, ride scooters. I guess it's kind of difficult to walk alongside a lady with a scooter. You know, it's kind of heavy.
Okay, so there's a reasoning.
So,
there's a reason,
you know,
perhaps. Okay.
I tend to be a bit liberal with that.
Okay, I take that.
But I think that what would be more kosher would be to park your bike on the side of the road, stand up and talk.
Oh, do you think men are going to do that today, though?
No, because she's not going to stop. She wants to get to where she's going, and clearly...
So it's women!
And clearly you're disturbing her. So...
Okay, so there's a reason for that. But I know we're both against, we are on the same page when it comes to men on motorcycles and the woman's on the back with no helmet.
Yes.
I mean, that's just, ladies, I can't stress that enough. He's not that into you if he's doing that. I'm just saying. Waiting in line. You know, sometimes you go someplace or you're going for chicken or something and you're waiting. You're not necessarily in a particular line, but you're waiting, and you look around and you see who was there first. And then here comes and walks up this person and goes, yeah, I want a piece of chicken. Not even looking to see who was there first. Does that bug you? Because it bugs me.
Yeah, it does bug me a lot.
Are you a wait in line kind of guy?
I'm a wait in line.
You are?
Type of person.
Okay.
I do see people that walk in. I think the worst place is the bank. The worst place.
Tell us about your experience in the bank.
The worst place for me is the bank, where you're in a rush. It's a Friday afternoon. You have things to get done. You see 5 people in line, and you say, "Good, the bank isn't crowded. I'm going to stand in line." Not taking note that there may be 6 people over in the corner sitting down. You think that they're waiting for someone else. And as soon as you reach up, they jump up. Oh, I was before you, but I was just taking a rest over there. I could understand if you're taking a rest, if you're invalid, if you're handicapped,
pregnant,
if you're old, pregnant.
Okay.
But these are able-bodied people. Able-bodied people sitting on the side, just waiting because they don't feel like standing up.
That ticks you off?
It ticks me off. I don't think that we should condone laziness in the bank. If you're an able-bodied person, stand in line like everybody else. You know? But
oh gosh, you know what I don't like in the bank? When you're in the line and persons, they will stand right up on your body, so much so that you can, their breath is coming on you. And I had to back up on a guy and say, you're not going to get there any faster if you're on my body. One man, I actually had to tell him that I have a disease, a rare disease, and I would hate for him to get it. And then he backed up pretty far, so that kind of worked. Now, we have so many other ones. Actually, there was another one, parental unity, that I came across, yes? When it really spoke to the fact that, you know, in the house, the parents have one voice, yes? And the children understand that. There's no, mommy said no, or I'm going to go to daddy. Even if, one of them said, even if what that particular parent is saying isn't really felt by the other one, they do not show it in front of the children. If they have a problem with it, they will wait until the children are not in the room to discuss it. How do you feel about that?
Growing up, I was raised with those same words as well. I could recall there were times that one thing that my mom mentioned before I got married was that if you're going to pass down a ruling to your child, it should be something that both parents agree upon. If it's a case where you've just jumped up in a haste and made a ruling without consulting the mother or the father, and the other parent realizes that, you know, you are really making a mistake, that parent wouldn't chastise you in front of the child, that parent would wait until you finish handing down your ruling, and when you're retiring to your bedroom, etc.,
You'll discuss it.
you discuss it. And that very same parent that handed down the ruling would then come back and reverse the ruling if they were in the wrong. But the other parent wouldn't come and go against what that one parent said.
Right.
I didn't know the full value of that growing up until I contacted a friend of mine that I went to high school with, and I asked about an old friend that grew up with me through all of my school years, went to the same church, our parents were good friends, etc., etc. He was an only child, and I do recall him saying that he gets over on his parents. And I asked him, how does he get his own way? Because he had the latest of everything.
Right.
And I asked him, how do you get your own way to get all these things? He says, oh, I have a secret. I put one parent against the other.
He actually, that was a strategy of his.
That was a strategy of
Wow.
his. And he did that all his life. And it was shocking to hear that he was so accustomed to getting his own way and doing his own thing without being accountable for who he's hurting or the tension that he's creating in the relationship. That he thought that he could do that with anything. And now to find out he's actually hooked on cocaine and he's a bum in the street.
Oh my goodness. So that didn't work out for him in the end, did it?
It didn't work out for him in the end. His parents got a divorce and he's homeless and a bum.
So it is good to listen to these codes of behaviors because it works.
Yeah, and it does work in raising your child in a structural manner.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. When a lady is cold, a man might see her, a gentleman might see her cold, he offers his jacket. Do you do that, Mr. Gill?
Not that much. I had an instance where I lent a garment of mine and never got it back.
You didn't get it back?
Nope.
So you just stopped?
So, yeah. My garments don't come easy.
So you're not really into that. Would you encourage persons to do it? No? Yes?
Yeah, I would. I would.
But you gotta follow the lady now to make sure you get the garments back.
I have to make sure I get the garment back.
Alright, now we just saw a movie, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. And it was a very good movie. One of the things that popped out to me is when they were speaking about the fact that you should wait 90 days. And the gentleman spoke about the fact that, you know, when he went to get a job, his probationary period was 90 days. Why is it women don't think they're worth it to wait until they get intimate for 90 days? How do you feel about that?
I feel strongly about that.
Oh, strongly you say?
Strongly. It's not something that I'll be very vocal about. But no.
You're on Tamilive, hey. Do your thing.
There was a show that you had a while back, Why Do Men Cheat? And this tends to play into that a bit.
Okay.
First of all, the 90-day period is too short.
Too short? 3 months you're saying is too short to wait.
I cannot be mentally in love with you within 3 months.
Are you serious?
No, you can't. First off, you have to look at the way a man thinks.
Tell us.
Well, the way that 90-day... Well, the reason for the movie was because I guess society was taking a serious turn where there was no waiting period. Everything was so casual. And I guess that sprung up with the whole idea that if men can do it, we can do it too. I know in college that's something that I heard.
Right.
This one girl who had quite a few partners told me that she doesn't see why men could have a lot of partners and women can't. And I understand that from a fairness point of view, but from a ethical and respecting yourself point of view, it doesn't really
You
play
can't
out.
see it.
No, I can't see it.
Okay.
But going back to the way a man thinks, when a guy first sees a woman, the first thing that comes to mind is her body.
Physical attraction?
Right, which plays a bit into lust. Now you could lead a man on by just the lust factor, which is short-lived, or you could lead him on by him understanding you for the values that you believe in, understanding you for the person that you are, which then develops into a respect, which then develops into something that I classify as a mental love affair.
Mental love affair.
Yeah, a mental love affair, one that isn't driven by lust, one that's driven by I love you for the person that you are.
Wow.
That is where the 90-day thing comes in, because it takes a while for the mindset to move from the lustful nature of the curves that you have, the curves of your shape, to the qualities that you have. And clearly that's the reason behind that movie, and that's the reason behind the 90-day period, to give time for that friendship to develop.
Okay. We have women who are looking at this show right now. We have men that are looking at this show right now. I know some of you are saying, what is he saying? But let's talk about the reasonable amount of time. You're saying 90 days, 3 months, that's too short. Do you have a reasonable amount of time? Is there a feeling that you feel when you know it's the time? What time span are we looking at, Mr. Gill?
Well, if I go back to something my mother said, I could recall her saying, whenever you start dating, never classify a girl as your girlfriend or as your sole significant person until you've been with her for, well, I think she was more leaning towards marriage, until you've been with her for 3 years.
3 years?
3 years.
3 years?
3 years.
3 years?
3 years.
Just want to make sure people heard that.
Jokingly, because she said this to both myself and my 2 younger brothers, who chimed in saying the longest that they'll wait is 2 weeks. Right?
And we know. Okay.
Right?
Right.
So I said, why 3 years? And she said, in not so many words, a person can't fake for 3 years. Within 3 years, a person will show their true colors. And you'll know if that person is cut from the cloth that you want to get married to or not.
Very good.
I can't say 3 years is one that I would agree with, but I think you should give time for that friendship to develop.
I believe that. Definitely.
Time for that mutual respect, that understanding of each other.
Definitely.
Until then, it's a short-lived relationship.
Oh my goodness. We are out of time. Can you imagine that? But before we go, as a man, because there are a lot of young girls who don't have that father figure, who don't have a man saying, hey, this is my advice, kind of thing. What advice do you have for young women who are saying, I'm with this guy, I just met him, but I think we should have sex. I think we should do it. I think we should, it's time. What advice do you have for them?
Young women, I guess we're speaking of what, 18?
Teenage.
When I was younger, I would say, yes, do it now. This is the best time. Now that I'm older, it's strange. Now that I'm older, the things that I wanted when I was 19 aren't the things that I wanted at 29. The things I want at 29 aren't the things that I wanted at 30.
That's right.
Now I'm 40 something, and 40-something
looks very different.
40-something looks very different, and experiencing things at 40-something is much sweeter than 19. Because I think that comes from maturity. That comes, you're no longer trying to compete with your peers. You're now with a person who, you know, you understand the struggles that you go through in life. You understand what it is to pay that car note, to pay rent, to juggle various expenses. And there's no putting on airs. There's no pretentiousness. There is just, we live, we enjoy life, we make the best of it. And I feel free at 40-something than I did when I was 19, 29, with all the restraints of that age. I think at 29, I think I was in Los Angeles at that time. At that age, you couldn't date unless you had a car. And I was still accustomed to catching the bus.
Yes, and walking.
So
yes.
You had no relationship. No. You know, and at 40, you don't care if you're catching the bus or if you have a car.
Yeah.
You know, it's who you are
as a person.
For the person that you are.
Right.
So
I'm so happy you stopped by, because I've been trying to get you on this couch for some time.
I was timid about the couch.
You were, but you are fabulous, so thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Don't move away. Tammy Live will be right back.
Log on now to jtvlive.net for news, talk shows, government and community events, and breaking news across the Virgin Islands. jtvlive.net, your television on the internet, your television on demand. Log on now to jtvlive.net, twice the power.
jtvlive.net, twice the power. jtvlive.net, twice the power.
Hello there. Now, my fans and I, the fans of Tammy Live, we've been speaking about my hair and why it's back in one all the time. Now, people, I did tell you that I'm listening to you. I got your emails. I get it. You want to see something different. Today, it's on this side. May not be a big step for some people, but it's a step. And I went to McKelly's Beauty Salon to get my hair done, and they did a fantastic job. I stepped into McKelly's. I was treated like a queen. I felt so fabulous, and they did a fantastic job. So Evelyn, gracias. I am so pleased with the outcome. And yes, we are going to be working on some other styles, McKelly's and me. So stay tuned for that. So I just wanted to stop and say, yes, we're progressing, and to give a big shout out for McKelly's Beauty Salon. Josefina Nunez, te amo. Gracias. Welcome back to Tammy Live. Is Chivalry dead? David Gill says it's in a confused state, but I do believe there is hope for us to regain and rebuild and recondition our minds to bring chivalry back, because I do believe it's a pleasant part of life, and it's something that we need, especially in this time when we're going through so much. David Gill spoke so much, and what really comes out for me is that advice for young women, and that 90 days, and he's saying, from a man's perspective, that's too short. He spoke about 3 years, and I know I could hear you from your living room saying, what? But I want us to focus on that mental love he spoke about, the mental love affair. Doesn't that sound lovely? Don't you want a mental love affair with someone? I know! It is fabulous. So I'm encouraging you to take that time to get to know someone before you give of yourself, because giving of yourself to someone else is a big, big step. And I'm glad that David Gill stopped by today. Don't forget to check out dglifestyles.com to learn more about David Gill's business. Here is to life. You like it? Yes. And the living of it. Ooh. Tamilive. Just be happy. See you next time.
Tamilive is proudly sponsored by Skelton Group of Companies, Premier Dental, Norman Allen Photography, tglifestyles.com, and jtvlive.net. Wardrobe for Tammy, proudly sponsored by tglifestyles.com. For more information about Tamilive, log on to tamilive.tv. Join us on Facebook at facebook.com/Tamilive or follow us on Twitter at Tamilive Show. Here is to life and the living of it. Tamilive, just be happy. Ouch!